Are you here to take aging from awful to awesome? You're here, so I'm guessing the answer is yes. Join us as we do this aging thing just a little different and make this time our time for living. There is, however, a disclaimer. That disclaimer is that I can't make the change for you, and there is no promise of some life-altering event that will do that. Having said that, though, if you listen and put even some of what you hear into practice, you will be changed. The challenge prerequisite is that you keep an open mind and don't subscribe to the standard thinking of, I knew that, so I don't need this, and give up or stop taking part in the challenge. Be ready to do the lessons, because doing them is part of the journey. Shall we get started? Aging is a process that is guided in a series of biological, physical, psychological, emotional, social, spiritual changes. It is primarily in the Western world that we find a profound apprehension about the aging process. Why is that? What is so disturbing or frightening when it comes to aging? In a word, what makes us feel that aging is awful? The perception of aging being awful is not as one-dimensional as you might think. We're not all simply worried about how we will look or not look as we get older, nor is everyone just concerned about becoming ill or, heaven forbid, getting Alzheimer's. It is mostly our perception and anticipation, rather than reality, that creates in us fear, worry, and anxiety. Here are just a few of those concerns. These are not in any particular order. They are simply an overview and description of what many people are concerned about as they get older. Health, though, generally tops the list, and it includes things like arthritis, osteoporosis, heart attacks, and even strokes. When it comes to health, the concerns are things like osteoporosis, incontinence, constipation, and arthritis. Even if they're not on our radar, we've all seen the ads that tell us that they should be because we're going to have all of them. Don't buy into the propaganda. The next is serious illness. These illnesses are considered as life-altering, such as diabetes, Parkinson's, respiratory diseases, and cancer. The good news is that science is making and has made some positive and promising breakthroughs for each of these. I've had 2 friends with Parkinson's. One, after years of suffering, succumbed to the disease 15 years ago. The other was diagnosed with the disease 20 years ago, and with the new discoveries, while not without challenges, has lived a pretty normal and productive life. He's now in his 80s, and it is more his age that slows him rather than the Parkinson's. Another is a failing mind. The third is a failing mind. This concern covers the whole gamut, from forgetting where you put your keys to forgetting what the keys are for. While not to be taken lightly, they should also not be something to get overly concerned about without confirmation. Whether you are just forgetful or have the onset of something more serious, there have been many great breakthroughs here as well. Another prominent concern is Number 4, the loss of independence. The cause of this is multifaceted. It can be as simple as not taking care of yourself and your surroundings, making it unsafe, or the result of a fall or some other injury that requires constant, long or short-term care. Next is loss of eyesight. This is one of the things that we take for granted until we start to lose it. The cause can be attributed to age, illness, or physical damage. The next is becoming a burden to family or others. This concern is twofold, and while it speaks also to a loss of independence, it has us worrying about others more than ourselves, which in some cases can become a double-edged sword. Then there is the death of a partner. This concern stems from being part of something or sharing a life. Losing a loved one, such as a relative, is devastating, but losing someone you have shared much of your life with can be life-altering. That loss also has some losing their way and their very purpose for living. Last but not least, there are many more, is losing my looks and my appearance. You'll note that this concern comes at the bottom of this list. But that's not because it isn't something we concern ourselves about. It certainly tops the list for some. But in reality, it's not something that we worry about through all of our senior years. So there you have it. Some of the most common things that have most of us concerned, worried, and dare I say, even stressed about when it comes to aging. Your challenge for today is to put them in the order of concern to you. Choose carefully, because those choices will help you to determine what your future prospects are when it comes to aging and taking aging from awful to awesome.